Sup world, we're back and this time we're balling with physical preparation flurry. This build zips through speed farming content in no time, practically 1 or 2 shotting at least in this path in this tier 101 pit. Teleport with flurry the skill, dash, or shadow step. You choose how you want to surprise your victims as you blaze through the pit. Want to do hordes? Well, this build crushes each wave of TA hordes with no problem, while remaining tanky enough to not have to worry about much while you're fanning targets to their death and raining down arrows with your ultimate everywhere. I was quite surprised how well physical flurry turned out in general, but I'm not gonna lie to you. The council fights in T8 with flurry can be a hit or a miss, given flurry's reputation for rather lackluster single target damage. If you can get them clumped up, it's not bad, but one-on-one, and it might take a little bit longer than you would like to spend on them, unless you have insane gear of course. So I'd temper your expectations there, no pun intended. With this gameplay clip, most of my gear was thrown together and the results were solid. If you're looking for a really fun flurry build that isn't just another Andy's build variant, you should absolutely give this a shot. Oh, did I mention? You can also do torment bosses with this too as well, since they're not nearly as tanky as T8 councils. So you're set there too. Alright, so we're gonna make this quick. We're gonna talk about skills first. You can just put 2 points in any basic, doesn't really matter. We just need to get out of this tree. We come down, we take flurry because flurry is our main skill. We're gonna come down to either this one. I think I was doing some speed farming here, so we're gonna have to put it back here. But generally speaking, you're gonna take advanced flurry for most of the content that you're doing in terms of like Inferno Horde or something a little bit more challenging. If you're speed farming, you definitely want to take this one because this is pretty much gives you that teleport dash, and it's probably the funnest thing to do in the game. Honestly, right now on Rogue is just to teleport dash around and just speed farm anywhere. Hell tides, pit 101s, man. It is absolutely so much fun. If you haven't tried it, even just period, you should do it. So yeah, speed farming, improved flurry. You're doing Inferno Hordes or you're doing Torment bossing, advanced flurry, of course, okay? Then you want to max out sturdy and siphoning strikes because you're pretty close up. Come down here, shadow step, take disciplined shadow step so you can do it more often and get out of CCs and things. We take cow traps, you go all the way up to methodical cow traps because we want to freeze them because we don't really have cold imbue or anything, so we want to proc out frigid finesse as much as possible. Max out your weapon mastery here, the typical unstable elixirs and trick attack nodes here. We also take dash. We all come down here to methodical dash because with this build you want to be very mobile and agile so you can reach the targets that you need to reach. Come down here to smoke grenade. We take countering smoke grenade to reduce the cooldown, obviously enhanced for the damage. You take Dark Shroud, come all the way up here for countering Dark Shroud because you actually do want to try to gain a little bit of crit chance here in this particular setup. If you're feeling a little squishy, you can go subverting Dark Shroud, but in this build generally you're fine. So take countering. The usual exploit here and malice picks. Come down here, max out frigid finesse because it's a huge damage multiplier. Then we're gonna come here, take ranks to innovation, make sure you do max it out because we need to be able to upkeep our energy because we're not using intercept at all. So you definitely need to pick up this here. And second wind is also important. Make sure that we have a barrier, and with this build you should be able to have barrier almost 100% of the time. Not all the time, but almost 100% of the time. And it's going to keep you alive and pretty tanky as well. So coming down here, if you notice, we actually take rain of arrows. I know this is probably the weirdest pick in this particular skill tree. You would normally think death trap because you're playing flurry, you're playing close, you want to bring everything together, but I guarantee you rain of arrows is actually the better ultimate for multiple reasons. So let's talk about this. So in the typical flurry build, we don't have a way to proc Tricks of the Trade legendary node. You need a marksman skill and a cutthroat skill. Well, if you notice, all of our skills are cutthroat. We have no marksman. So we either take a puncture or whatever like that, or there's mirrored sharpshooter, which turns out cow traps into marksman, but that means you gotta take a gear slot to do it. So you're either losing a skill slot or a gear slot. Guess what? This is a marksman skill. Your ultimate is a marksman skill. And because we actually get off cooldown quite often, this actually takes care of the Tricks of the Trade legendary node And some other effects too, they're also really good. Like the whole knockdown thing is actually super cool because they're all knocked down. If they're knocked down, they can't hit you. They can't hit you, then you're not getting hit. You can do more damage and stay in the area that you want to. So probably be the one of the coolest parts about this build. I promise you, you use this, you're gonna be like, this is crazy. Super cool find. So do so. And of course, we take momentum because, well, we're playing all cutthroat skills here, so we're going to always have stacks of momentum. We're going to also have that on the gear too as well for more damage. So momentum is a baller key passive, gives you energy, gives you damage reduction. It just gives you a little bit of everything. So yeah, that's skills. So for gearing, which actually I probably should have set this under skills, make sure you do take preparation. We're not doing intercept or combo points here. We're doing preparation. That's more damage reduction. And also we get our ultimate off a cooldown quite a bit faster, obviously, with preparation. So this is exactly what you would want to take for your specialization. Now let's go to gear. So we really want the Crown of Lucian. This is a really big deal because it actually spends quite a bit of energy and gives you quite a bit of damage. The reason why you want to spend a lot of energy is because spending more energy means that you proc your preparation specialization more often, which means that you get your rain of arrows ultimate off a cooldown more, which means you get more damage from your no witness legendary node, as well as your tricks of the trade legendary node too. So very, very important helm to have, and it's just a really good helm overall. It's got good stats, it's got cooldown reduction, very nice, and the damage is actually pretty baller too as well. So you want this masterwork cooldown as much as you possibly can. Materials Might, enough said, you guys know what this does already, hopefully from looking at previous videos or everyone else. So Materials Might, you definitely want. Regular gloves, flurry, attack speed, dexterity. We do want to do damage per dark shroud in this build all the way around because that's one of the best, probably one of the best rogue tempers in the game in terms of what you want to take. So damage per dark shroud is the way to go here. And then flurry size, you actually want to temper flurry size because you want to hit as many targets as you possibly can. So flurry size here is actually pretty good. Make sure you masterwork on flurry. As you notice, I didn't because, well, I just kind of put this together and I was like, screw it, this is gone, you know, this is fine, this is good enough, we're gonna just roll with it. Coming down to pants, same ordeal. Dexterity, max life. Armor, you do want to armor roll, so therefore you can't cap armor. I got siphoning strikes here. I was trying to get flurry here, but you know, things happen, right? And flurry size is also pretty important because again, we want to make, you know, beef that size of flurry so we can hit more targets, right? More targets, more damage. Great. Also forgot frostbitten on the gloves, Umbrus on pants. All right, I think we're caught up now. Yeah, we're caught up now. Going to the boots, dexterity, energy per second. So energy per second is important in this. So you don't have to necessarily get a greater affix version of it, but if you can get it, that's going to help you maintain your energy because we're using preparation, like I said. And with Crown, we spend a lot of energy, so we need to get some of that resource back without reducing the cost of it. Notice how I said that? That's very important. We'll talk about that more later. Chance to freeze is also pretty important here because we want to freeze to proc the Frigid Finesse passive that we have. And of course, movement speed temper of your choice. And then we take concussive strikes. So we have another additional crowd control so we can stagger faster, as well as some extra damage here to take. Then we come down to a bow. Do a bow because it doesn't really matter if you do crossbow or bow. Bow just makes casting your rain of arrows as well as your cow traps faster. So generally speaking, a bow just makes more sense here. You want dexterity, maximum life. Vulnerable damage or crit damage doesn't really matter because we're taking damage per dark shroud tempers. We're also going with the momentum key passive. So none vulnerable or crit damage does not scale with any of that at all. You have a ton of additive damage. So it doesn't really matter which one you do. If you are running low on resources, you can temper chance to gain primary resource or primary energy. That's a really good temp or a really good stat to have here in case you are still running lower energy. It's actually very, very good in general. So you can do that, and you're all golden. Here you want to take cow trap size to make it massive. We're talking about, like, if you've seen in the gameplay video, bro, those cow traps are like literally like covering the entire screen, man. Take cow trap size because there are no good flurry tempers here, so do that. Damage per Dark Shroud is what you want, and you want to crit on all of those. Also make sure you take Banded Aspect for the extra flurry damage here. And we're going to come down to this particular weapon here. We take Dexterity, Max Life, just like on the other one. Vulnerable damage is here, but you can, again, crit damage. Vulnerable damage doesn't matter. Or % chance to proc primary energy. If you're still running low energy, you can do that here. Again, temper everything on damage per Dark Shroud if you can. And then we run Conceited because, well, we have the barrier up the majority of the time, so why not, right? Then we're going to come to the Ashira's Dagger. I am on the fence about how good this is because it has Weapon Mastery, and Weapon Mastery, honestly, for daggers is just kind of like an exploit passive in a sense. It's really not that great on Flurry, but the attack speed is really good, so I'm conflicted about this or a regular dagger. Kind of go back and forth between the two. Hell, you can run Doombringer if you want to be super tanky, but you'll attack a bit slower. Kind of up to you. At the moment, I think you should go with this year's dagger. Masterwork as much of the weapon mastery as you possibly can, and hopefully you get a high enough unique ethics to where you really feel that speed and reach a break point that you will like. Starless Skies, enough said. You know, you're spending energy, crown costs a lot, rings of Starless Skies makes it feasible for you to spam Flurry. If you do not have a Starless Skies, if you don't have a Starless Skies, what you will want to do is you want to wear a Kyle the Nameless, okay? Because crown is going to cost too much for you to run with preparation for Flurry. So if you're running out of energy and you do not have Starless, please do Kyle the Nameless so you can, well, pretty much manage your energy much better there. And then what you would do is you would just copy this ring to this ring in terms of the stats that you will want here, and you're just going about your day there. More in the planner and also on the Maxroll guide if you want more information on that. Coming up here, we want to take same thing, damage per Dark Shroud. We want ranks to innervation, okay? Very important, ranks to innervation. You definitely want that because, again, energy. Dex, maximum life. Let's be on. I'll be honest. I actually just pulled this ring from my Heartseeker Rogue. I actually just pulled the dagger also from my Heartseeker Rogue because it worked. So I just kind of just took this, and my amulet actually came from my Heartseeker Rogue. So yeah, just kind of threw this together, and you saw what you saw earlier in the video. But anyways, we take Stolen Vigor for the aspect here because it synergizes with our momentum key passive, so we get some unstoppable and some quite a nice damage output here from this too. Coming up here, we got the amulet, and we want to roll Encircling Blaze aspect on it, which is your other Flurry aspect to go along with this. Here you want damage per Dark Shroud. You can do second wind here. You can do innervation ranks. It's kind of really up to you. I think by this time you should be decent on energy, so second wind is actually a really good choice here. Like I said, I pulled this amulet off my Heartseeker Rogue. Exploit is not really good, not that good for Flurry. Weapon Mastery is basically exploit, but in weapon mastery form for daggers, so it's also really not that good. So really the only one here that's good is Frigid Finesse on this particular amulet, but I wasn't gonna make a new amulet. I just wanted to see if it worked, and guess what? It does. So, but generally speaking, you want Frigid Finesse, Unstable Elixirs, Dex % is also a really good choice too as well. And yeah, pretty much it. When it comes to gems and your gear, most of the time I do, as you notice, I always run Dex gems in my gear. But this time around, you are probably tanky enough to actually run Dex gems in your gear, even if you're just putting it together and, you know, not that familiar with Rogue. You can still do so. But if you feel squishy, for some reason, or you don't have materials, might run rubies. But I think you can get away with some Dex gems. And because Flurry, we want to do more damage on Flurry, Dex gems I think is really the way to go. But you're gonna have to make the call for yourself and what you can handle. Okay. In terms of the weapons here, as you see, the ultimate gems here, the diamonds here, it's the same case for what it was in Heartseeker. We're trying to proc the No Witness legendary node, so we take the diamonds here to make sure that we have as much damage for that as possible. And since we're practically spamming Rain of Arrows quite often along with this build, then you're gonna have that a pretty nice uptime on that particular legendary node. So you want diamonds here. Skulls here caps out everything for you because you're going to be res capped anyways because you have Materials Might. So here, put skulls in Jury, you're done. Your armor cap, your res cap, super easy, right? So that's it for gearing. All right, so for Paragon board, I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to be honest, this is kind of a mess right now because all I really did was just took the Heartseeker Paragon board, made a couple of alterations here so I could fit in the 6th glyph or whatever, and that's pretty much it. But I'm gonna go over it, real quick just to kind of show you where I have things. Here's control on the starter board. We come up to the no witness board here. We put fluidity, and then we come out to the tricks of the trade board, and we take chip. Take the tricks to the trade legendary node. Oh, also make sure you take the no witness because as you saw earlier, you need that for that bonus. We come up here. We take the this is the cheap shot board. We take cheap shot and we take combat. I know that's a little weird. You're thinking to yourself, well, why in the world taking combat? And crit damage doesn't really scale. Well, if you read the second part of this, skills that critically strike restore 12% of their energy costs. Keyword restore doesn't reduce energy costs, it restores. If it reduces, it means that we have less uptime on our ultimate and also less uptime on our barrier. But if it restores the energy, then technically speaking, we're still spending as much energy, but also being able to maintain our resource costs. So actually this is an extra glyph I was able to sneak in to make sure that we can way to spam Flurry without running out of energy so much, and also not using a resource pot too. Combat is kind of like the extra glyph here. We come over here, we put ambush because of course traps, right? And then we take deadly ambush because things are in a trap. Again, your cow traps is massive, so things should almost always be in a trap there. We also come down and we take exploit weakness as a legendary node. That's probably in almost every single rogue build there. And I think last but not least, we add another board and we put pride in the, the cunning stratagem board here. So this is probably one of the easiest ways to pick up a additional glyph and just pride in there, so therefore we can just gain some extra physical damage too that way. So this will probably make a little bit more sense when you look at it through a planner versus looking at it through the video. It's always kind of hard to kind of drag this stuff around and kind of make it make sense of everything. But if you have any questions, obviously just let me know and I'll make sure to get to you on that. But like I said, the not messy Paragon board will be in the planner, so check that out. And that's it. So I know it's not Andy's rogue, but physical Flurry actually really surprised me. I really like doing the damage with the skill itself, so Flurry actually being able to put out some decent numbers is always a cool thing. It's a lot of fun to play with some secret gems like Rain of Arrows. Who would have thought that would be good in the actual Flurry build? So it was cool to put this together on live stream. Got a few more things to theorycraft for some other builds that you'll see me do down the line. But as always, until next time.